Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another arm wrestling video. In today's video, I'm going to be going through the results of the East vs West arm wrestling super match card that took place in Turkey just over the weekend. If you haven't seen the footage or you're wondering where the official results are, they are going to be released on Engin Terzi's YouTube channel not too far into the future. But if you want an in-depth description of everything that happened in the match, that is what I am about to give you guys right now. So the match card kicked off with Randy Tabar versus Vlad Diaziak. Okay, Vlad was too good. Vlad was, it was one-way traffic. Vlad took that victory 3-0, decisive. In a decisive manner. It was a top roll all the way, and it was quite comfortable for Vlad over Ramsey. But it was the first match, and it was the least known of the matches, but nonetheless, still exciting. From there, we went on to Anna Gronlund up against Angie Rose, and this was a fantastic battle. Angie Rose ended up taking the victory 3-1, but not without a significant battle. Anna Gronlund, she held on to Angie outside of straps and really did make Angie struggle. Angie lost the round where she slipped in a foul position where she dragged her elbow off the back of the pad trying to escape, as Anna had a great clamping ability on the fingers of Angie Rose and forced Angie Rose to really be patient. She did exactly that. After having lost one round, Angie did consolidate her position. She trusted her strength. She stayed on the elbow pad and she eventually pulled through, got into the straps and was dominant. 3-1 Angie Rose. After that, we then had Jonathan Breida up against Zurab Tabarizi, and Zurab was just simply too strong. It went 3-0 to Zurab. There looked like a small glimmer of hope from Jonathan Breida. His arm power did look sufficient to be in the balance, but it was the connective tissue, it was the wrist position, the elbow, the side pressure connectivity of Zurab was far too strong, and Zurab ended up taking a fairly decisive, actually a very decisive win. 3-0. After that, we had Ron Barth v Fa Comac, and that was a 3-0 once again on the left arm. This one, Ron Barth did show glimpses of hope. He held on to the death that was just above the pad. Ron Barth was holding on and making the match somewhat competitive, but essentially a decisive victory, 3-0 Fa Comac. After that one, we started to get into the juicy matches that a lot of people had been looking forward to. Sandra Sadis, the Latvian wonder, Sandra Sadis, the European Super Heavyweight Champion. He took on USA's Chance Shaw, who, of course, is one of the big up-and-coming stars of the sport, someone who's on the rise, prominent on YouTube and social media. This was a fantastic match because the storyline got a big update. Sandra Sadis did win the match 3-0. Not before getting a scare in round one. Sandra Sadis attempted to come in and press and then transition to a hook against Chance Shaw, and Chance Shaw came within millimeters of getting the pin. Multiple surges came very close to the victory, ended up being an elbow foul in there. On the restart, Sandra adjusted and went high and attacked the hand and wrist of Chance Shaw, neutralizing his access to power. Chance Shaw putting up a gallant effort and some degree of stops, but Sandra Sadis took the match 3-0 in a decisive victory from there. After that, we had Artem Morozov versus Tobias Sporong on the left. Now, Artem Morozov was once again too strong. His ability to put Tobias Sporong into the hook was the critical difference. It was one-way street once it got into the hook. Tobias, that tall arm, that long arm, not being able to get down low into that hook with any significant connection. It was one-way traffic. But Tobias did show promise. He did get a flash pin victory over Morozov when he did manage to keep the match up high and flatten the hand of Morozov at the go. Tobias Sporong looked incredible when it did go outside, but ultimately it was Morozov who was able to dictate the lanes and take the victory 3-1. All right, after that one, we had Fa Comac up against Rebecca Martinkova, and it was Fa Comac taking that one 3-0. Although Rebecca did really scare Fa Comac off the first ready go outside of straps. Rebecca, her hand looked amazing, and it actually dominated Fa's, and Fa dump slipped, and they were almost considering awarding it a win to Rebecca, but they went to the straps, and then once at the straps, it was the back pressure pronation connection of Fa, and the experience there looked good. The nerves of Rebecca seemed to creep in as well. She seemed a little bit in awe of Fa and her prowess, and Fa taking the win 3-0 in the end. After that one, we had Yusuf Yıldızoglu up against Oleg Cherkasov. Now, this was one of the matches that I really enjoyed. Did I write down the score for that one? Let me just find it. I wrote it down somewhere. It was 3-1, I'm pretty sure, going by memory anyway. 3-1. It was Yusuf who took the opening round in decisive manner. They went into the hook and Yusuf just drove to the side. He looked like the stronger man. He looked like it was just going to be one-way traffic. But Cherkasov then really put on an amazing comeback. Round number 2, he redlined in a defensive hook. He got all torqued up and twisted his elbow and shoulder and put that connective tissue on the line and survived only centimeters above the pin line. And then fought his way back, got control of rotation, got control of center, and then ultimately side pressure to finish. And then from there, he came home with a wet sail with Yusuf running out of that endurance. Cherkasov went on and commandingly finished the match. Looked like an absolute Terminator as he looked out at the crowd, had this look in his eye like, yeah, watch this. Okay, after Yusuf and Oleg, we had Ronbath and Zurab Tabarizi, and this was probably the match of the night. Absolute war was Ronbath and Zurab. I've never witnessed a better match. I'll say it again. I've never witnessed a better match. Ronbath, Zurab Tabarizi, phenomenal arm wrestling. The score ended 3-2, but not before. It ended 3-2 to Zurab, but not before absolute drama. We had so many restarts due to elbow fouls after huge long wars. Ronbath was defending with an open arm top roll with chop and pronation and rise, and he'd drop below and add that pronation just to survive. The hooking and side pressure, the elbow connectivity of Zurab Tabarizi was phenomenal. He refused to say die. At round number 2, it looked like Ron had gained the edge to win the match. He'd climbed through. He'd totally bled the hand of Zurab. We thought it was over. He was able to transition to presses and get the victory. But then round 3 came and Ron was starting to feel exhausted. He was starting to think, I need to finish this match. He tried to finish with a shoulder press. He couldn't get it. The arm power of Zurab just stood in the way and refused to go down. The hand was blown on Zurab. We thought, no way can he come back with a hand like that. But he would flop hook. And from there, he managed to get Ron's arm right open. Ron would redline, trying to hold on. Trying again to regroup and climb. But to no avail, the flop hook started getting through. And before you know it, these guys are even at 2-2. And in the final round, it did end very disappointingly, I must admit. It went back to the same shape they were in. They were ready for another absolute grinder. And because of the sweaty elbows and the sweaty pads of all of this major effort, Ron's elbow slipped off the side of the pad and he lost connection to the table, then got pinned because of that lack of connection, and they failed to call the elbow foul. They called it a pin to Zurab when it really should have been the correct call, in my opinion, was an elbow foul restart, and we would have seen the right conclusion to that match. But nonetheless, it was phenomenal. Those guys need a rematch because, oh my goodness, that was the most entertaining match I've ever seen, absolutely solidifying Ron's legend status. He's about to turn 60, I think, this week. Phenomenal stuff. And Zurab totally showing how badass he is. It was highly, highly entertaining. All right, after that one, we had Schoolboy versus Herman Stevens. Schoolboy taking this one 3-1. Schoolboy looked fantastic, but Herman Stevens had a great range of tools and tricks and deceptions up his sleeve. Herman was posting high, Herman was looking for wrist control, and Herman did a great job of getting that. He really did use a lot of deception, and he would attack off in a direction that the Schoolboy wasn't looking for. And on one of the rounds, Schoolboy got caught napping, lost control of the hand and wrist, and was pinned decisively by Herman. In every one of those other rounds, Schoolboy was happy. He didn't even need to use his signature top roll. He got control of the back pressure of Herman. He brought it inside, and then he rotated through the hook, sometimes needing 2 surges, but very much comfortable in the end. Too strong was Schoolboy. 3-1. After that, we had Artem Morozov v. Evgeny Prunic on the right arm, and Evgeny Prunic put on an absolute masterclass, winning the match only 2-0 due to what looked like a minor injury to the pec of Morozov. But the first round, Morozov went to top roll, and Evgeny Prunic just forced him against his will into the hook, took control of all the rotation, and then just pinned very comfortably. And then the next round, from there, they went into the hook together, and it was Prunic just absolutely destroying him. Really absolutely destroying him. Opening him up, then taking the wrist with his own top roll was Prunic. And Morozov banged sideways, looking to try to get somewhere in the match. without his hand and wrist as he banged sideways. Small pec tear or something of that nature. And then he withdrew from the match from there. But 2-0 Prunic was that result. Okay, after that, we had one of the most impressive performances of the night. Todd Hutchins up against Jordan Sonnev of Bulgaria. Todd Hutchins demonstrated exactly how high he has leveled up because he utterly destroyed Jordan Sonnev. Now, Jordan Sonnev is a WAF world champion himself. He's someone who's beaten Prunic. He is ultimately a elite arm wrestler. And Todd Hutchins destroyed him. Utterly destroyed him. Jordan Sonnev attempted to come into the hook with him in the first 2 rounds, and Todd Hutchins literally just put him to the pad with ease, like utter ease. The 3rd round, Jordan Sonnev attempted to top roll and get away, and Todd just held on to him casually, looked around at the crowd for a while, gave Jordan an opportunity to work, and then put him out of his misery. Unbelievable performance from Todd Hutchins. It was a performance that has propelled him into the conversation of being the top 10 ranked overall arm wrestlers in the world. After that, we had Alekseev v Betkili Oniani. Alekseev on the left arm, of course, one of the all-time greats in the sport. He took on Betkili Oniani, and Oniani, despite not looking to have the physical stature of someone capable of troubling Alekseev, he did exactly that. He really did make Alekseev work. Now, Alekseev lost the first round due to elbow fouls and movement in the ref's grip. So it was somewhat of a cheap win in that opening round, but nonetheless, the remaining 3 rounds, which Oleg would go on to win, were hard fought. Oniani's commitment, that shoulder forward, that elbow on the line, really resilient elbows. Amazing side pressure. He forced Oleg to really work. He forced Oleg to take a good 30 to 40 seconds to win each of those rounds. But Alekseev did exactly that, taking the match 3-1. After that, we had Arif Erdem up against Hermes Gasparini. Arif Erdem, of course, being the WAF Super Heavyweight Champion of last year. Hermes Gasparini looked fantastic. Came out, dominated the match. The hand and wrist was just on fire. And he really did solidify his place in that top half of the world rankings now. When I say top half of the top 10 on the world rankings. Hermes Gasparini looking very savage, very pumped up. Outside of the straps, Arif showed a little bit of promise in round 1, but it very quickly became one-sided once that strap went on. Hermes Gasparini's back pressure, finger containment, and an explosive top roll looked on point. And then we had the co-main event. It was Michael Todd v Gennady Kvikvinia, with what I thought was the individual performance of the night coming from Gennady Kvikvinia. The general, the Georgian deputy to Levan Saganishvili, absolutely destroying Michael Todd. Literally, utterly destroying Michael Todd, to the surprise of almost all of us. Michael Todd coming into that match was the overwhelming favorite. He had shutout stakes on StakeKings.com. Not many people were expecting Gennady to win, let alone to win the way he did. But Gennady Kvikvinia took control of the hand and wrist. He contained the pronation of Michael Todd, and he contained the high ground. This gave him freedom to move sideways with almost little resistance. Michael Todd was only able to defend right at the bottom of the table, just above the pin pad. And subsequently, Gennady Kvikvinia threw punches at Michael Todd and looked at him and talked at him and toyed with him and just hit him over and over again in a manner that can only be described as savage. Gennady Kvikvinia, absolute performance tonight, winning very decisively 3-0 over Michael Todd. And then finally, the match that was touted the main event of the night, it was John Brzenk up against Hadashimura of Russia. This match was set in the sense that the winner of this would be crowned the number 1 ranked arm wrestler in the world for 100 kilos. And John Brzenk did exactly what was needed to just solidify him as the GOAT of GOATs of GOATs. John Brzenk performed so amazingly. Round 1, okay, they initially gripped up, and there was threat there as the referees were straightening the wrist of John. It looked like John was uncomfortable. You thought, oh, maybe Hadashimura is going to take this with a fast top roll or something like that. John walked away from the referees, was not happy with the referees straightening his wrist that far. They then slipped, no worries. In the straps, John stonewalled Hadashimura. So bad, so one-sided. He was so dominant that Hadashimura shook his head with dismay, couldn't believe what he was feeling as John just rolled over casually and took that win. Round 2 was equally as amazing. John Brzenk, outside of the straps this time, after feeling the dominance of round 1, he decided to hold on to Zolev. Zolev putting in all his back pressure, all his pronation in his attempt to top roll and slip. recognizes that he can't, that effort breaks down, and John Brzenk literally held onto his fingers and then just put him down casually. 2-0. And then final round, John voluntarily goes into the hook with Hadashimura being the strongest part of Hadashimura's game. Right in, allows Hadashimura to attack. John returns at the center, drives over in a hook, comes back to center, and then opens Hadashimura. And Zolov just, again, smiling and laughing with how ridiculously strong John Brzenk is. So John Brzenk, with a resounding victory at 57 years old, once again becoming the #1 ranked 100-kilo arm wrestler in the world. A truly and utterly phenomenal performance. All right, guys, that is the wrap-up of East vs. West. I hope you guys got something out of that. Like I said, the matches will be coming out on Engin Terzi's YouTube channel very soon, so that is where you can see all of the action. Also, if you want to hear my calls of it along with the Aussie arm wrestler Jake Ward, you can grab that as well. The full 5 hours that was the commentary is available on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check that out. But that is the quickfire results. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you guys at the next event, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, that's a man!